Hey y'all, I think we are live. Thanks for stopping by there, Steve, Moose, Chad. Good to see y'all. I always feel like I'm forgetting something as soon as I turn the switch, and it's like deer in the headlights for like a split second. But what the hell, right? It's been one of those weeks. I was just looking up something. I forgot the guy's name. I think he was new to the Scotch for Dummies channel. I think his name was Jim Bob or Joe Bob, something like that. And he was asking what's the best smoky Scotch, and instantly came to mind was Ardbeg Uigeadail, and I thought that's a pretty good safe smoke, but the smokiest Scotch I could think of next to maybe. I mean, smoke is a tough one. I mean, Lafroy Gloire is kind of I would consider that smoky, but what's some of your favorite smoky ones? I'm just curious. The Jeopardy theme, yeah. Yeah, good evening, Mos. We're going to take a look at a couple, not new to me. One is brand new to me. One I actually had the option of having a dram at an expo before, and fell in love with it as soon as I tasted it. And it was enough definitely to make me want to get my own bottle and really dive in and see what I liked about it so much. So that's one we're going to look at. That's that Glenglassaugh Torfa. Glenglassaugh. I'm thinking. I'm probably mispronouncing it. That's not one you really hear a lot about, but I tell you, we're going to be in for a treat, I believe, in that one. This guy was funny because Speyside is a region, and everyone knows Speyside is probably the most popular region next to Highlands. That I think Scotch is probably, I mean, if you're someone a little off the path, then Isle is probably your favorite, or even the islands. But I'd say if you set every Scotch drinker down, did a survey, and asked them what their favorite region was, I bet you it's going to be either Speyside or Highland. That's just my guess. I could be off, but Trooper is pissing me off with the Lafroy 15. Yeah, that's one of the very few bottles I don't have over here. I've had it a couple times sample wise, but I need my own bottle of the 15. That's one of the ones that's a unicorn bottle. I have an unopened bottle of 18 that I would trade for a 15 unopened. I think at this point because I can't find it. So you're getting 3 years, and I'm sure the 18 is actually better. But I do like the 15. It's got some really nice cola properties that are reminiscent of a Glenglassaugh 15 in my book. That's just me. Yeah, Chad, I'm the same way. Campbelltown and Islas are my favorite. But I'm just thinking if you sat down and asked everybody, it would be Speyside. And thanks for stopping by, Scotch for Dummies as well. And this is one that I think Andrew would like a lot. We'll get to the Glasgow, the Torfa here in a little bit. But this was intriguing and difficult to sort out where it was because the name of this distillery is also Speyside. I'm like, could you imagine them being an Isla distillery in Isla or a Highland distillery? I mean, there's Highland Park, but they're an island, so it's kind of confusing. But Speyside Distillery named themselves, and that's what this is. They also have an offering called Spey. I'm not sure. I think it's geared more toward a foreign market. Like I can't remember if it's India or Taiwan. If you know in the comments, let me know uh, if you know where that's just the Spey one's geared toward. I think it's either Hong Kong or Taiwan or India or something like that. This guy is what you'd find pretty much in America. It's inexpensive. It's like $40, and it's 12 years, so it's got an age statement. That's a positive. It's 43%. It's not hot, but it's not 40, and that's a possible plus in my book. Thanks, Chad, for reminding me. Taiwan, yeah. So if you're looking for something a little different, I think it's a little more expensive. I think it's about $100 for the Spey 12-year, but I wanted an actual Scotch, so I'm sticking with the Speyside Distillery's 12-year version. It's kind of funny. It looks a lot like either a grain or like a blended, bottle. There wasn't a box that came with it, but you know, for 40 bucks, what do you expect? It's awfully dark. The 12 thing, you know, I'm suspecting maybe some coloring in here, but you know, if it tastes good and it's 40 bucks, what the hell, right? So let's go in for a little sniff and see what we get. Hey, Richie Z, thanks so much for sticking by and hanging out with us while we have a few. And I think my buddy Stephen Connor, I don't think he's here yet. Stephen and I trade salsa every once in a while, and he had this version of salsa that was a Glendronach. It's a 25-year. One was a sherry butt, and the other one's, I think, a similar thing. I think it's a sherry butt. Let's see, 25-year sherry butt. They're both sherry butts, 25. One's in 1992, one's in 1993. We'll get to those at some point. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a proper show with them, but I sent him some salsa, and it was of the Antioch variety, 24-year. And I'm eager to see what he thinks of it, so hopefully he'll be able to stop by. I think he's going to stop by and let me know what he thinks. Thanks so much for stopping and subscribing, Papa. I really appreciate it. I saw you just pop one right before I pulled the trigger. It definitely is not, you know, hitting in the face. It's definitely a milder whiskey, being 43. It's got flavor, which is nice, though. You get the first note I get is a floral note, but it's not, you know, negative too much. It's not like a lilac, jasmine kind of thing. Really light, like honeysuckle. There's some honey, but also some nice, really light fruits, like your pears and your grapes. A little bit of, I mean, just a little touch of wood, not oaky though, not heavy wood, like a nice lighter. I'm trying to think of a nice lighter wood smell, like a fresh lumber cut. No, not. There's nothing, you know, dark about it. It's not going to have any you know, the deep ruby red fruit, that kind of thing. But it does have a nice kind of a mild fruit cocktail, a little, maybe even a little nice little sugary. What do you call it? The sugar, the powdered sugar, a little bit. A little sweet, airy. The floral notes balance the sweetness off, so it's not too over the top. Not bad. I mean, it's not super crazy complex, but you know, 40 bucks. So far, the nose is definitely a step above, you know, a monkey shoulder kind of thing. The 12 years, I think, helps with that. So, There's more of the wood on the palate, but it's really met with, wow, it's a very cereal, a lot of cereal, like a Honey Nut Cheerios kind of a taste going on, which is good. If you like Honey Nut Cheerios, I like it. Oh, Speya also has a peated offering. Thanks, Chad. Yeah, this is funny. Now, when I looked at a couple of reviews of this before I pulled the trigger just to see if it was, you know, going to be one of those rough drams or if it was going to be maybe at least decent. And someone said it had peat in this, and I don't detect any peat at all in this Speyside 12. I think what they are thinking is peat is more of like a menthol mint kind of flavor. It's got a little bit of a menthol on the back end. Not much though. Barely can notice it. And I went past the neck pour. I've been sipping on it. It's probably my third dram in, just to give it, you know, some time, get to know it. And I do like it better than a Bell's, which is a really good blend. I like it better than a Monkey Shoulder. It's maybe $5 or so more. It's on par with like a Highland Park Magnus, I'd say. Maybe even a little bit better. Don't tell anybody I said that. It does not beat the Highland Park 12. No, I'm not going to go that far. It might go as far as being or at least equalizing the Magnus, I think. And I think it's the 12 years is really, benefiting the overall complexity of it. It's not complex, but it's more complex than a lot of the ones I just mentioned. I mean, if you like cereal, barley, malt, a little bit of butterscotch, toffee, not dark, not heavy, but I mean, it's not crazy, bland or light either. It's kind of a nice middle, a little caramel. If it was, made from corn, it would be a great bourbon, I'm sure. But thankfully, it's not. I'm not a corn drinker. Actually, I hate corn-based whiskey. But that aside, it does have a bourbon-esque, a cask type of a feel to it. Now, I was looking up some notes, trying to see more about, what it is, and I think it's just a straightforward American oak cask, from what I'm because I'm not really seeing specifics that I can find anywhere. If it's European oak versus American oak, or if it's some sort of any. I doubt it's any special like cask being $40. So I think we're just working with a straightforward American oak, maybe even an refilled bourbon cask of some sort. That's what it basically tastes like. It's nice, but unfortunately, no, it's not Highland Park 12 caliber, but Highland Park 12 is a lot more than $40. So, I think it's it runs about 45 to 50. Let me get my trusty notes out here, and I'll tell you exactly how much, at least in Maryland, it runs. The standard old Highland Park 12 is looks like, if they have it, they sold out of the 12. Wow, I'll be surprised. I think they actually have the wow. They have, this place has more of the high-end stuff. It's got like the ice, the dark origin still. They run that for 87. Fire, full volume, Magnus, Valknut, and Valkyrie. The Valknut and Valkyrie are like the go-tos right now. Valknut, especially since they're probably their newest one. That they run that for about 87. Valkyrie's like 85. But the 12, I'm pretty sure, is at least $55 to $60. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Richie says, I believe the serial note is oat. Yeah, it's like it's like honey nut bunches of oats is what this reminds me of. The honey nut bunches of oat cereal. Have you ever had that before? That's what I get a lot off this one particularly. Damn near $60 in Louisiana. Yeah, see, it's high. It's kind of like Glendronach 12. They get away with charging $60-65 for their 12-year. It just kills me. I'm not sure, if I would be more comfortable with 50-55. Not to say they're bad in any means. I love the Glendronach 12 and I like the Highland Park 12, but I think the demand has bumped it up about $10 over what the typical price on those would be. And if this sold like hotcakes, it would probably be $50-55 too. But no one really knows a lot about this distillery and what they do. They have a non-age statement called Drumgush. You might have heard of it. Drumguish. It's only $20. It's really cheap. I never tried it. I almost did one time. It was kind of one of those bottles I was kind of like, well, is it worth just the 1 out of 20 to try it? I might eventually, but if I have this as an option to go in as my distillery tester, that I think this is probably the best way. Kind of go middle of the road. and see, you know, where you go. Wow, Moose says he's got 37 here for Highland Park 12. You better go buy more for sure, man. That's like almost half price. Yeah, and Chad's right. It's 70, you know, 65 to $70 here. It's nuts. Great taste. It reminds me a little of the Ben Nevis without the funk. It doesn't have sulfuric notes to it. It's got a lot of honey oat cereal crunch, nutty, you know, goodness going on. Oh my. Finish is kind of, you know, it's there. Thankfully, it's not drying. It's not a drying dram, but the flavor dissipates pretty quickly. You're in for a decent palate, but don't think there's going to be a finish, you know, of any sort. Hey, Gawkin, good to see you, man. Gawkin's my friend that will exchange a little, try to at least, the Irish Gaelic / Scottish Gaelic sort of hybrid back and forth. I've got my Iska. Lee, my friend Lee in Virginia is not gonna like that, but hey, you know, I'm not gonna put a whole lot on this. I'll probably just put a drop. I always forget my damn dropper. I'll be right back. Let me get my dropper. It's always something with these things. Always seem to forget something, and that's what it is this time, is the old dropper. So let us have a little bit. I mean, I don't think it's going to do anything to this, with it being, you know, not a complex thing, but we'll put literally like a single drop or two of water just to see if it wakes up. Got Balvenie Double Way 12 for $42. Wow, that's a hell of a buy there. I'm not a big fan of the 12, I'll be honest with you. When I first had it, coming from the Isle of Campbelltown kind of guy, the 12 was a little bit faint for me flavor-wise. I was more of a Caribbean 14 big fan, though. I love that bottle. The next double what I had was the 17. I still have that back there, and that one is superb. I think that is a much better one, but it is a lot more. You definitely can't get it for $50. I wish you could. I'd buy like a case of it. It's definitely a steal. That's nuts. I think Trooper, where are you getting Trooper? I forgot. I know you've probably told me like 4 or 5 times. Nashville or something? I can't remember. Alert. Not bad sipping. I wouldn't mix this with anything. I think it's great to sip just on its own. I wouldn't, you know, the water didn't really bring anything out, I don't think. Maybe a little more citrus oranges, but didn't completely change the palate. And the finish is still kind of, you know, thankfully not dry, but yet, you know, not a lot going on. Maybe a little bit of slight pith, orange, marbly kind of thing, butter, oily kind of. It's got a nice mouth coat. I'll give them that. I think the 40. If it was 40, I don't think I would like it as much. But it's not going to like blow your socks off either. As a rating for this guy, you know, 3 is what I would consider average out of 5.25 increments. I do think it's slightly above average, but you know, by how much? With it being 12 and not having a cask influence, I think I will be, you know, kind of give it a 3.25. I think that's fair. It's I wouldn't, you know, go crazy, buy it off the shelf for anything in particular reason. But if you're, you know, you've been drinking Lucky Shoulder for a while, or Bell's, or Ballantines, I think is another good, Chivas Regal. If you've been drinking a lot of blends and it's kind of like your go-to when you don't really want to, you know, drink anything complex or expensive, I think this would be something to have as an alternative backup, you know, something different that I think you might be worth at least, you know, a little bit of time. Oh wow, Gawkins having the local 12. That one I was not a big fan of, Gawkin. The reason being is I personally, know I might have had an off night or just a bad bottle or something, but I got like a soapy kind of a note out of the local woman. I did not like the 12. I am going to give the 18 a chance at some point when I pull the trigger on a local woman bottle. But I've been putting them farther down the list because that's one of the distilleries I didn't really get into very much. Just my own personal thing. Um, wow, Trooper never had the 14 Balvenie. Wow. Yeah, I think the Balvenie 14 Caribbean cast, man, is really nice. It's sweet though. You gotta be into like a sweet tropical Balvenie kind of deal. If that sounds intriguing to you, then pull the trigger. If you don't like sweeter drams, then you might want to wait for a tasting. Good to know on this review about the water. I guess you're talking about the water on this guy on the Speyside 12. Well, it's okay. It's not great, but not horrible. A little bit better than average, I'd say. I have had some 12 years that were not as this good, and they're better known distilleries. So we'll just say that. Okay, so let's look at one of these guys, the Glenglassaugh Torfa. Oh my lordy. This I've been looking forward to for a while. Richly peated, non-chill filtered, natural color. 50%, 50. That sounds awesome. The only thing it's lacking, which, you can bitch, you might not bitch. You might be one of those people that are purists that have to have their age statements and all that, but does not have an age statement. But that's okay if it tastes great. And as you can tell, I just recently got this. It's almost halfway gone. So I poured both of these out quite a bit ago, just to give them some air. And that's what you're looking for right there, especially on an age statement. Genuine color, 50 ABV is going to have a hell of a mouth coat, I'm pretty sure. And thankfully, this is a peated version. Now, Glenglassaugh is also has one called the Evolution. Now, I'm just subjective palate here. I tried it, and a lot of people like it more than the Torfa. I do not. I thought it was a bit bland. I did not have enough flavor for me, but it rates really well. It's also 50%. It's ex-Tennessee. It looks like an ex-Tennessee whiskey cast type that they use. George Dickel for that one. Maybe that's the reason why I didn't get into it as much. But on the let's go back to the old Torfa. Now, they don't really talk about the cast types used here, surprisingly. Huh. If anyone knows the cast type used for the Torfa, let me know. But I tell you, I'm an Isla guy, and this made me realize that not only Isla or Islands or Campbelltown can do peat. This is a Highland. I mean, this should be like a light tasting, just a regular old taste. I do not get a soapy note. Nice combination of fruit, light smoke, spice, but all our taste buds are definitely cocking. Yeah, I might try it again because I never, I don't think I've maybe gave it, it's just due. But let's get back to the old Glenglassaugh here. Pete. Oh, I love Pete. And I have had some not so good peated versions, and I have had some decent ones. Anok is one of my favorite distilleries. The 24 is outstandingly good. But I have had one called a Flounder. I did not like that peated version very much. It was a bit too sweet, and for me to say that is really strange because I like a Ardbeg, which I think is more of a sweeter peppermint kind of a taste. But for me, that one was even over the line or something. They do have one. I think it was the rudder. Was it the rudder or the cutter? Let me go back and take a quick look. And I want to say cutter. That was a good one. Yeah, the cutter was a step up. I'm not sure if it's say 46% ex-bourbon, 20.5 ppm on the cutter. Let me see what the flounder is and see what the big difference is, because there was definitely a huge difference with the way their peat tasted. The scores are really similar, 46% American oak instead. So maybe it was the American oak that I didn't get into. Let's see, the ppm is only 14.8 as well. I think maybe the lack of ppm in the American oak versus the just pure ex-bourbon cask, maybe that was the difference. I don't know. Something definitely was a huge change. You would think 14 to 20 and a half wouldn't be that big of a difference to notice, but it was enough to feel it. TW here has revival scores high. TW, what's TW, Moose? Just curious. And yeah, I haven't even gotten to this yet. Let's go back to the. You're right, Chad. It is nice. This is definitely, if anyone wants to try peat outside of Islay, but is of Islay quality, this Torfa is the way to go. I'm telling you. Really nice nose. And it's funny because Ben Ryan bought these guys, and the first thing I compared it to was a Ben Ryan Curiositas 10-year experience. It has that kind of quality to it. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Chad. I appreciate it. Always good to see you. Stop by anytime. Huh. Really nice nose. It's got the sweetness, but the peat's there. It's got a ton of fruit. And it's like more of your medium level, not just your light pears and grapes like this guy. It's also got a bit of oranges and strawberries. Sweetness is still there. Very light. There's not a lot of darkness in this one. That's okay though. Oh, Total Wine. Glenglassaugh Revival. I haven't tried that one yet. That's one I haven't tried yet. Maybe sometime. %50 going neat. And I tell you what, for 50%, it drinks really well. It doesn't need anything. It's not hot tasting. The peat really is fantastic on the palate. It's right up there with, I would put it up against like a quarter cask Laphroaig, an Ardbeg 10, something like that. It's not as heavy maybe on the peat, but it does have a richness to it. And I think it's because they have a nice level of peat, but they also throw in so much of the fruit slash cereal flavor to it. It's just it's like if you took this, added more fruit and peat, that's kind of where this is going, which is, I hate to say it, but it's just so much better. And the age isn't there maybe, but the quality is just fantastic. Really nice mouth coat. It's medium to, let's see, let me give it one more. Maybe not as heavy, but it's medium, at least a medium. This is more, I mean, it's medium, but a little bit lighter maybe, I'd say. But I have had both. I've had thinner than both of these. I just cannot believe the flavor of a non-island Islay Campbelltown peated whiskey being like this. And Ben Reich are the only guys I can think of that do it justice. And I guess it's because these guys are, 2013 is when they bought them. So they must have really got their hands in the stuff. I mean, sweet and peat and high ABV, I'm all in. Yeah, that's pretty much comparable to a Kilchoman. That's an interesting thought. The closest I can compare this to would be the Moncure Bay, I believe. It's like a lot of my Kilchomans, and one of my favorites are cask influences, like the original cask strength quarter, the red wine, the Loch Gorm, the Sauternes. The Moncure is more, or the 100%. Thankfully, the 100% olive barley by Kilchoman is a little too floral and herbal for me. That's not one of my favorites. The Moncure Bay is a little more closer to this, which is just a nice, sweet, slightly floral, slightly cereally, very well peated whiskey. I mean, do I wish it had a little sherry involved? Yes, I do. Do I wish it had a little twist, like Marsala cask or Amontillado or something else? Sure, Is it as good as Moncure Bay? Let me look at something. I did a review of Moncure Bay at some point. Let me see what I gave it versus what I gave the other one, and that will let me tell you if they're pretty damn close or if they are, night and day difference. I think they're going to be pretty close, but before I say that, let's take a quick look. Now, I wish I remember which year. There we go. I think they're going to be pretty close because I gave the Moncure Bay, it was 2016, and it looks like it's not going to let me see if it'll let me see the whole thing. Here we go. 48%, see, 46%, 48% slightly beats it for balance. Let's see. For the Moncure Bay, I said, usually I think Ardbeg Distillery knows everything. There's an exception with their 10-year-old. Moncure Bay from Kilchoman is what their 10 years should be. Ditch that lime. Lowe's lemongrass, touch of earthy peat. It's comparable to Lagavulin 8. Nice vegetative whiffs of the Isla coast of brine that I long to visit someday. Palate has that Laphroaiguish quality of a nice balance of salt, smoke, pepper, but add in some faint tobacco and sherry. The 46% is decent, and I can see this comparing side by side with the quarter cask as well, but their 48% ABV slightly beats it for balance. That's what I looked at with that one. Now for this, it was a little different. It was a nose filled with slight sweet peat, cotton candy, ginger, and apricots. The palate brings oak, black jelly beans, heather, honey, and brine. The finish is gentle roll over a smoke sweetness that lasts medium length. I think the guy that let me have the salsa before I tried this particular bottle, the non-chill filtering and coloring was a definite bonus. And I gave it 4 stars. It looks like 4 to 4.5. And the other one was a 4 at least. I don't think I put a flat number. So I'm thinking that this one is really comparable to the Moncure Bay. 4, I think I give both of them like a 4, basically. That's my feel on it. This, I think, is maybe a little edged up. The Moncure Bay is delicious, but there's something about this one that is so different. I might give it a 4 point, if the Moncure Bay is a 4, I give this one like a 4.25, I think. So maybe even a little bit better, which does say a lot. The only thing I'm kind of wondering about is if the, let's see. Yeah, 46%, and this is 50, and that might be the reason why I think it also has a little bit of a, you can't hear anything. You must have your volume down there, Daniel. Maybe you got an early start. Mm. Uh-oh. Did you and Rob have a Valentine's Day spat? That doesn't sound good. But yeah, just a quick review. I'd say 3.25 on this guy, a 4.25 on that guy. Very well done. It is pretty darn good. I definitely recommend if you're gonna go out and get a bottle. This is the one I'll probably get at this distillery. Revival is the only one I haven't tried, and could be good. It doesn't review quite as high as the Evolution or this guy, but you never know. It all depends on if you like peat. I'd say try it out. If you're not a peat fan, go for the Evolution and see if you like that one. I just wasn't as big of a fan as a lot of people are of that one, but I'll have to give the Revival a chance at some point and see. What you up to, Daniel? How did you and Rob get into it today? I'm afraid to ask. He looked pissed. Oh man, what did you do? Oh no. You can't fight with your fellow Canadian, man. What's wrong with you? You guys don't have very many friends up there. You gotta be careful. Before you know it, you're gonna piss Swami off. You'll have no Canadian friends left. He's Quebecois. He might not be counting. I don't know. I hope he's not watching, and he's gonna pop in here and give me shit. Anyway, well, it was fun, guys. I really appreciate y'all stopping by. I guess Steven's not gonna make it tonight. I was hoping that he would let me know what he thought about that Enoch 24. Daniel fired Rob up. It's hilarious. Yeah, I might have to pop those Glendronachs open at some point and just do a side show. I'll just be drooling all over the place, though. I mean, 25 years. That's just insane. I can't. I mean, the 12 through 15, 18, 21 are good enough. I mean, 25 is even just a little older. And that's the funny thing. I mean, the peated ones, once you get past like 18, they start to lose their luster, in my opinion, unless it's like an Arbig 23. That's the only one so far I've had that's held up from the age. The Laphroaig 27 and 30, I just didn't like it as much. But I think with the Glendronachs, they'll hold their own after a lot of age because you don't have to, worry about losing your peat and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like. Oh, man. I'm afraid to know what he did. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, I'll go ahead and let you guys go, and hopefully you guys can work it out there, Daniel. Are you still in Moose Jaw, or are you somewhere else now? I'm not sure if you have to travel for your deal or what, but stay warm. It can't be warm up there, I'm sure, no matter what time of year. It's probably always like 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't maybe come turn on you. Oh, I owe my friend, before we go, I do owe my friend Lee a swig of carriages from the bottle. I told him I would do it, and I forgot about the end of the last show. So I'll do that before we sign off. What is the next bottle purchase? Oh, Moose. Let me get my list here real fast. It's right over here. I've got some distilleries that I'm kind of looking for. I do have a couple bottles already ready to go for another show. One is the Tamdu Batch Strength 2. Now, I can't remember if I've already done one through Salsa Deal, so I'll have to double check to make sure I already haven't done a show on the Tamdu Batch 2. I know I did the Dabadil Dram, but that's like a specialized, I'm butchering the pronunciation, Dabilia, the Tamdu Dabilia Dram, something like that. that was a very specialized bottling. But I'm not sure if I did a batch 2 yet. If not, we're going to do that. I've also got the Speyside, I'm sorry, the Spey Burn 15, which is going to be a good show. Spey Burn 15 and the Tamdu batch 2. I think I'll have to check and see. Now, as far as decide to maybe I've got a couple of Scotch Malt Whiskey Society bottles. I might try to do a show one in those two Glendronach 25 deals, which would be crazy. I do need to buy something from Aaron Dendromic, which I've got my eye on the Imperial Proof one. It's really good. I was able to have a taste of that at a local place recently, and it was very well done. The Bladnoch, that's one 15-year-old's on my radar there. The Kleinleash, I'm trying to get a Game of Thrones bottle. If it doesn't pan out eventually, I'll just go with the 14. It's always damn good. I would like to get the last two Game of Thrones ones I don't have. Dalmore 18 is on my list to do. I think I've already done that show, though. The Glencladden, that's going to be a 13, I believe. The Glengarry, a 12. A Glenmora, probably go with an 18 because the Glenmora at 12 and 15. The 15 is okay. The sherry is good, but you have to get a high-end bottle for a Glenmora for me to be enthused. Aladura, now that's going to be a tough one because I've heard that their NASs are better than their 18-year-old ones, which is crazy to me. But Lee I trust, and he's one that's actual, has told me about that. So Loch Lomond, I've talked about that with Gawkin. Maybe the 18 I might try. The Royal Blockla is the other. The Royal Brockla is the other one that of the Game of Thrones I don't have. If I can't find it, I'll just get the 12 and say, screw it. Scapa Glazna I like to get because I do like the peated version of that. Strathilsila, I can't even say it. That one I'm not too enthused about because I've had an independent bottling that I was not really a big fan of. The Tumentul, probably just going to go with 16 if I can find it, but it's hard to find a Tumentul that's not a Glenlivet. I'm not sure why that is. If finally a Wolfburn, I've heard the Aurora is really good. There's a version that's particularly better than others, but I might just have to go with their single NAS. That's like a 3-year, 4-year. They're very young. There's a lot more to go, but a lot of these other ones I'll have to special order. Like a Ben Rennis and Daft Mill and Feather Cairn. I mean, I've had some independent bottlings of some of these guys, but I'm trying to get some legit distillery versions, if you know what I mean, from straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, of course, some distilleries do better with independent bottlings. Bowmore is one of them, but I think it's always good to go to the source first, try their juice, and see what it's like presented by them, and then go and do an independent if you know a good one, a good version of it. Negative 29 Celsius. Oh my God, man, that's freaking cold. That's negative 18 Fahrenheit. How do you stand it? You must wear 5 layers of clothes at all time. How the hell do you go motorcycle riding when it's that cold outside? That's my question. That's just nuts, man. I don't get it. Hey, Don, good to see you too. I'm not sure if you've been here before, but please give me a thumbs up, and if you enjoyed yourself, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate it, and hopefully I will see you guys soon down the road. Daniel, let me know if let the folks know if you're going to do a show. I'm sure they'd stick around for you if you were. You're more than welcome to spin it up if you're going to. I've got to check in a little earlier than I usually do. I've had a long week and not been feeling all that great. But Slanchava, and hopefully get back in the swing of things here in the next week or so. Maybe I always say it. I'm hoping to get a special surprise show on a Tuesday afternoon or something, and maybe get some Europeans in. If I get a chance, but you never know. It's hard to get time and to do all that, but we'll see. Sláinte, guys. See you next time.